Happy Tech Tuesday.
And you know what that means? We're bringing you everything tech here, there, and everywhere.
Period. Only on NPS Culture Connect.
My name's Jill.
My name is Tracy. Let's get started. In the headlines, AI regulation in Uganda.
AI bots making Afrobeats.
No ID, no travel.
OBJ making bank.
Let's get started. As Uganda continues to embrace digitization, Deputy Speaker Thomas Tayebwa has urged for robust legislation to be able to regulate AI, especially with its rapid advancements, and also just to protect people's personal data.
Yeah, I love the fact that they want us to get there before these things start happening.
Before?
Yeah.
This is not before.
This is before.
Because it's like
because
I've been telling you.
We don't have to wait for the biggest thing to happen for us to
AI
integrate
has already
this.
started. Yeah. AI came. What happens with technology is technology goes, legislation follows. So we're just glad that there's going to be some sort of legislation regulation, but that's just how it is.
And
because
we
it's
are
uncharted,
one of the few African countries that are doing this, actually.
Exactly, but it's uncharted territory. So you can't create laws for things that don't exist yet.
Yeah.
So you just regulate things that are already existing to make sure that certain things don't happen. So it's always advancements, then legislation. But obviously this means that our government officials now need to be trained in AI. A lot of people in general just need to be trained on these things and just understand how they work for show. For instance, today, I was in marketing and I was using the AI to create a presentation. Yeah. And one of the older guys, Casey, said, "What are you doing?" "I'm doing a presentation on AI." He said, "What?" It blew his mind, Yeah. So it really just makes our lives easier.
Yeah, and we love to see it. The fact that Ugandans are actually using AI like that is also helping the government, to then come and start putting the regulations in place.
What if the regulations do not let us use AI and work anymore?
No, please. No, please.
That's how AI starts doing your job completely.
No, but how will they know? How will they know? Now, Maya Blue is an AI artist that has been created by a Nigerian producer named Eclipse Nkasi. Now, this particular artist is singing about the impact of AI in the industry. So she's basically singing about the dangers of AI, and yet she's an AI.
It's like singing about your red flag.
Yeah, you saw the red flags, baby. But it's a red flag, really. And there's a Kenyan artist that came out to say, if we allow things like this to continue happening, we would see profit loss from African artists, because she's basically singing Afrobeats.
Yeah, and the music industry in Africa already is not as profitable as the States. So taking away even more money from that is mad.
Yeah, man. And there's also appropriation in there.
Of course, yeah. I think...
And lack of creation, like proper creation, because they just really use information that has been there before. So we wouldn't be seeing any innovation in the African industry of music.
This is why regulations are important.
And this is why Uganda is being ahead of it.
Period.
We love to see it.
Ugandans with expired national IDs are being turned away at East African border crossings despite assurances that their IDs can still be used for local travel. So NIRA, remember back then, said that the IDs would still be valid until 2024.
Exactly.
But now, people are being turned away. They are not working.
Imagine driving all the way to Busia and they tell you, you can't cross because your ID says last year.
Exactly.
That's a tight one. It's hectic, especially if it's an emergency.
Absolutely.
So what happens to those people? Is there a letter that they should be moving with?
So they've suggested that people should be moving with their passports, certificate of identity, or temporary travel movement documents. So
now where do we get these temporary travel movement documents?
NIRA. So temporary movement permits can be gotten at the Ministry of Internal Affairs at NIRA.
All right. Now, Odell Beckham Jr. is known for so many things, but in 2021, he was known and laughed at for accepting half of his salary in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And now he recently tweeted and said, "Who's laughing now?" You know, who's having the last laugh?
Period.
Because the guy that earned over $4.3 million in salary and $3 million in add-ons right now, is laughing because he's saying, you know what? The Bitcoin right now is at $92,000. And at that time, it was at around $60,000.
For one Bitcoin.
For one Bitcoin. So you can only imagine. And at around that same time when they were making fun of him, it even dropped to as low as 9,000. You know, we had so many people across the world losing money in Bitcoin. But imagine someone that invested 9,000. Today, each Bitcoin is at 92,000.
Man.
So just to give you some perspective, if that was 100,000 that you invested, you know, to buy this Bitcoin, you'd be getting a cash out right now of 12 million. Imagine that.
Guys, that's sweet money.
Yeah.
But also, I think this is a trend of athletes investing in cryptocurrency. We've seen Beckham do that. We've seen Messi. So maybe this will catch on now that Odell Beckham Jr. has made so much money. Maybe some other athletes are going to opt for the Bitcoin option.
Yeah, and also this surge is due to Donald Trump's re-election. Yeah, so we just saw billionaires
Kamala Harris'
coming richer.
campaign is $20 million in debt.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. And do you know what's so
For a
crazy?
dance party with Beyonce.
What's up, guys? I am here with the one and only Simran Murali.
Hi, Tracy.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to have you.
Thank you.
So, for our viewers, give us a little bit about your background.
Okay, so my name is Simran Murali. I go by Daddy Sims. I am a self-employed freelancing digital content creator. I also manage a football league and I manage talent. Yeah,
Period.
that's what I do.
So now I want to focus on the digital content creator bit. How did you get there?
I started by resigning from my corporate job to become a full-time content creator. It's actually not that difficult for you. If you find your niche and you love doing what it is you love doing, I think you can create content out of literally anything. You just need to be able to market your brand and, you know, just be authentic, put yourself out there. That's typically how I do it, I think.
Yeah.
So
I want to ask, so obviously you worked in legacy media for a little while and now you had a corporate job and now you're self-employed working for digital. What would you say is the main difference for you in terms of being employed and being your own employer?
Okay, so first thing I would say is a lot of people think that being self-employed is less stress and compared to, you know, corporate stuff, you know, you've got someone telling you what to do all the time. There's certain deadlines and stuff like that, and they're like, no, you don't really have that when you're self-employed. But I actually feel like self-employment is 10 times more stressful because you are literally your biggest enemy, you're your biggest competition, you are your biggest obstacle. So if you're not waking up early, you're not doing the work you're supposed to be doing, you're not working, you're not doing this, it's your brand that is ultimately suffering for it. So I would say self-employment, the biggest difference is the output. You need to, it's that self-motivation. You have to put it out yourself. Yeah.
And then your transition from legacy into digital, how did that come about?
You know, the world is advancing, right? The world is advancing. So we're not going to be reading newspapers every day, you know, like we're not, you have to move with the times. So obviously with technology becoming more and more accessible, I would say social media is something that everyone has had to kind of jump on in a way. And how social media works is, you already know, you basically grow your following, you grow your audience, you put out your authentic content and your personal brand and everything, and it just keeps on growing and growing and growing, and eventually your audience starts catering towards, you know, things that are relevant to them. And that's, I think, how I transitioned into this, you know, the responsibilities that you take on in legacy work and legacy meet. Well, that's what you people are calling it. I call it mainstream media. The positions and the roles that you take on that tend to be more defined, whereas I find myself wanting to explore pretty much everything. I like being able to work marketing and, you know, being the brand and being behind the brand and doing the editing and doing all these amazing things. I think it builds you as a creative as well. So that has made my skill set grow drastically. But also, in terms of the monetary value, I would say, because so many people are making a switch now into social media marketing and all, I would say that the industry is very, very fast growing. You can make some really good money from that. It's also not as censored, which is like the biggest thing for me. I tend to be very, very unfiltered, and I like having the ability to have that freedom of speech, of ownership of my work, and yeah.
Absolutely, I truly get how that's such an attractive industry. But
Yeah.
as we close, I just want you to give our audience 3 tips on how to successfully make it in the social media world.
Okay, so the first one is know when to say no, because saying yes to everything, it might look like a very good, you know, monetary offer or a chance for you to put yourself out there, but it can be damaging to your brand if you're not wise on when to say no, when to filter who you want to work with. And then the second one would be, take inspiration, but do not copy people's ideas. Try to be as authentic as possible. Try to be creative. What you think is lame about you is something that people might find really, really dope because you're not seeing other people doing it. So just be authentic. And I think the third and the most important one would be to have fun, because that's the reason as to why you're waking up and doing this stuff. If you take it too seriously and it becomes your 9 to 5, then you might as well just walk back into mainstream media and interview Tracy.
Slave like the rest of us. Thank you so much, Samantha. This has been such an insightful
Thank you so
discussion.
much. What's up, people? It's your girl, Daddy Sims, and I am on NBS Culture Connect. If you like what you just saw, make sure to subscribe, follow, and Tracy, can you wrap this up? I don't know how to do it.
Well, it's a wrap. That's it.
It's a wrap. That's it.
Now we
Bye.
go.